What's the greatest fear of someone who loves deeply? It's not being unloved back. It's not being able to protect the person you love most.
Elvis Presley lived with this fear every day. Famous people have enemies, crazy fans, dangerous obsessions, and Priscilla was vulnerable because of her connection to him. What he did about it was both beautiful and heartbreaking. If you believe that true love means preparing someone for every challenge, and that the deepest protection comes from empowering those we love, this story will touch your heart forever. Hit that subscribe button, because we're sharing the most beautiful example of protective love ever documented. May 1974. Elvis's fame had reached dangerous levels. The screaming fans weren't just excited anymore. Some were obsessed, unhinged, threatening. Security reports crossed his desk daily. Fans breaking into hotel rooms. Stalkers following the family. Death threats in the mail. Most were empty threats from confused people. But some felt different, darker, more real. Elvis could handle threats against himself. He'd dealt with dangerous people before, but threats against Priscilla, against Lisa Marie, that was different. That kept him awake at night. May 15, the incident that changed everything. Priscilla was shopping in Memphis, alone. Elvis was in the studio. A man approached her in the parking lot. At first, he seemed like a normal fan, asking for an autograph, wanting to talk about Elvis. But something was wrong. His eyes were too intense, his questions too personal, his proximity too close. "You're even prettier than in the pictures," he said, stepping closer. "Thank you," Priscilla replied, trying to move toward her car. He blocked her path.
"I know all about you," the man continued. "I know where you live. I know your schedule. I know when you're alone." Priscilla's heart started racing. This wasn't a fan. This was something else. "I need to go," she said, trying to stay calm. "No, you don't. We're going to talk about Elvis, about how you don't deserve him." The man grabbed her arm. Priscilla screamed, loud enough to attract attention from other shoppers. The man released her and ran. When Priscilla got home, she was shaking, crying, traumatized. Elvis took one look at her and knew something terrible had happened. "What's wrong? What happened?" Through tears, Priscilla told him about the man, the threats, the grab, the fear. Elvis felt something he'd never felt before. Pure, murderous rage. Not just anger, rage at the man who'd threatened his wife, at himself for not being there, at a world that put the people he loved in danger. That night, Elvis made a decision that would change how he protected his family forever. He wasn't going to hire more security. He wasn't going to restrict Priscilla's movements. He wasn't going to build higher walls. He was going to make sure Priscilla could protect herself. "I'm going to teach you to fight," he told her. "What?" "I'm going to teach you to defend yourself, so this never happens again." "Elvis, I don't want to learn to fight. I just want to feel safe." Learning to fight is feeling safe. When you know you can protect yourself, fear loses its power. Can't we just hire more bodyguards? Bodyguards can't be everywhere, but your strength can be with you always. Priscilla was reluctant. Fighting wasn't feminine. It wasn't her style. It wasn't who she was. But the memory of that man's hands on her arm changed her mind.
Elvis didn't mess around. He hired the best. Red West, his longtime friend and bodyguard, a man who'd taught military hand-to-hand combat. "I want you to teach her everything," Elvis told Red. "Striking, grappling, escaping, everything." "Elvis, maybe we should start slow." "No, she needs to be able to handle any situation, any threat, any attacker." Red had never seen Elvis this serious, this focused, this afraid. The training started the next day. In the basement of Graceland, mats on the floor, punching bags hanging from the ceiling. "The first thing you need to understand," Red told Priscilla, "is that you're stronger than you think." "I don't feel strong. Strength isn't just physical, it's mental. It's knowing you won't be a victim." Elvis watched every session, taking notes, asking questions, learning alongside his wife. They started with basics: how to stand, how to move, how to use leverage against larger opponents. "Size doesn't matter if you know where to hit," Red taught her. Where to hit: eyes, nose, throat, groin, solar plexus, places that hurt no matter how big the attacker is. Priscilla was uncomfortable at first. She'd never thought about hurting anyone. This isn't about being violent, Elvis said. This is about survival.
The most important weapon you have is your mind, Red explained. If you think like a victim, you'll be a victim. How do I think like a fighter? You think like someone who deserves to be safe, someone who has the right to defend herself. Elvis nodded approvingly. This was exactly what he wanted Priscilla to understand. You're not just my wife, he told her. You're a warrior, my warrior. Week by week, Priscilla got stronger, more confident, more dangerous. She learned to throw punches that could break noses, kicks that could drop attackers, pressure points that could paralyze. You're getting scary, Elvis said one day, watching her practice. Good, Priscilla replied. Maybe scary women don't get grabbed in parking lots. Elvis smiled. His wife was transforming from potential victim to formidable opponent. But Elvis knew physical training wasn't enough. Priscilla needed emotional armor too. What's your biggest fear? He asked her one evening. That someone will hurt Lisa Marie. What would you do if someone tried? Kill them. There it is. That's your warrior spirit. Remember that feeling. One night after a particularly intense training session, Priscilla asked Elvis the question he'd been dreading. Why is this so important to you? Elvis was quiet for a long time. Then he told her the truth. Because I might not always be here to protect you. What do you mean? I mean life is unpredictable. Fame is dangerous. And I love you too much to leave you helpless.
Elvis, you're scaring me. Are you planning to go somewhere? No, but I'm not immortal. Something could happen to me. Or I could be traveling when you need me. So this is about worst-case scenarios. This is about making sure you can handle any scenario without me. The weight of his words hit Priscilla like a physical blow. You're preparing me for a life without you. I'm preparing you for a life where you're strong enough to handle anything. Those are the same thing. No, they're not. Strength with me is even better than strength without me. Elvis pulled her hose. I'm not planning to leave you. I'm planning to make sure you never need anyone to save you. As months passed, the training intensified. Priscilla learned weapons defense, multiple attacker scenarios, psychological warfare. What do you do if someone grabs you from behind? Red would ask. Priscilla would demonstrate. Elbow to the ribs, heel stomp to the foot, headbutt to the nose. What if they have a knife? More demonstrations, disarming techniques, counterattacks, escape routes. Elvis watched it all with pride and heartbreak. 6 months into training, Red set up a test, a staged attack to see how Priscilla would respond. I'm going to have someone approach you in the grocery store parking lot. You won't know when, you won't know who, but when it happens, react like it's real. Priscilla agreed. She was ready. The test came 3 days later. A man Elvis didn't recognize approached Priscilla aggressively. Hey, pretty lady, come here. Priscilla's response was immediate and devastating. A palm strike to his nose, a knee to his groin. An escape route, execution. The attacker was on the ground before he knew what hit him.
Elvis watched from across the parking lot, tears in his eyes, pride in his heart. His wife was no longer vulnerable. She was dangerous. She was powerful. She was safe. How did I do? Priscilla asked afterward. You were perfect. Absolutely perfect. I felt powerful. You were powerful. You were powerful. The training transformed more than Priscilla's fighting ability. It transformed her entire presence. She walked differently, talked differently, carried herself like someone who couldn't be intimidated. I feel like a different person, she told Elvis. You're the same person, just unleashed. I never knew I had this in me. I always knew. I just helped you find it. The skills were tested for real. 8 months later, another obsessed fan, another parking lot encounter, another attempted assault. But this time was different. This time Priscilla was ready. The attacker approached aggressively. Priscilla responded instinctively. 2 strikes, 1 escape. The threat was neutralized in seconds. Elvis wasn't there to protect her, but she didn't need him to be. Thank you, Priscilla said, that night. For what? For seeing what I couldn't see in myself. For making me strong. You were always strong. I just helped you weaponize it. Why? Because loving someone means preparing them for every battle, even the ones you can't fight for them. Elvis continued training Priscilla for years, always updating her skills, always preparing her for new threats. Strength expires if you don't maintain it, he would say, but more than physical strength, he built her mental armor, emotional resilience, spiritual power. The goal isn't to make you violent, he explained, it's to make you invincible. Years later, Priscilla understood the full depth of Elvis's gift. He wasn't just teaching me to fight, she would tell people. He was teaching me that I was worth fighting for. He was saying, you matter so much, that I need to know you can protect what matters to me most.
When Lisa Marie got older, Priscilla passed on the lessons, teaching her daughter the same skills Elvis had taught her. Why do I need to learn this? Lisa Marie asked. Because you're precious, and precious things need to be protected. By who? By themselves. That's the strongest protection of all. Elvis's decision to train Priscilla in self-defense was about more than physical safety. It was about dignity, empowerment, self-reliance. He didn't want me to be a damsel in distress, Priscilla would say. He wanted me to be my own hero. The training showed Priscilla that love isn't just about holding someone close. Sometimes it's about preparing them to stand alone. The greatest gift he gave me wasn't protection, she realized. It was the ability to protect myself. What made Elvis's decision so heartbreaking was the love behind it. He knew fame made his family targets. He knew he couldn't always be there, so he did the most loving thing possible. He made sure they didn't need him to be. This incredible story of Elvis and Priscilla proves that the deepest love means empowering those we cherish, and that true protection comes from building strength, not walls. If their journey from vulnerability to invincibility inspired you, please subscribe to our channel and share this story with anyone who believes in the power of preparation and protection. Let us know in the comments about how someone helped you become stronger, because the most beautiful love stories include teaching someone to save themselves.